In today's video, I'm going to show you guys 10 plugins that I wish I knew earlier, but with sound demos. I definitely got chewed out for not doing sound demos, so this one will have sound demos. I have my espresso, I have my water. Let's do this the right way. First plugin that we talked about, Explorer by Haze. This is a pedal simulation plugin, so basically it's emulating what a hardware guitar pedal would be doing for you, but at the fraction of the cost. So for Explorer, and shout out to Haze because he's the one that made this, and he did send this to me, but this is not sponsored. I do not have to say anything good about it or any of these products in this video. None of these are sponsored, so I can say whatever I want. Companies may have sent it to me, producers may have sent me the plugins and stuff that they made, but this is all stuff that I genuinely use. This is all stuff that is not like a paid promo. I don't get anything for any of this. They will all be linked in the description. I'm just putting y'all on the game and telling y'all what I use, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully you guys enjoy it. But like I said, Explorer, granular pedal. You gotta enable it by turning on these little two buttons right here. You see how these buttons lit up? Boom, now it's actually enabled. And as you can see, I'm gonna play something on the piano. Okay, you hear how it sounds completely normal. Let's go ahead and turn the mix up alone. Okay, you can see how it kind of added some reflections of what we played, and they sounded a little bit different. Let's go ahead and mess with the grains knob. That's gonna help the granular effects really shine. And you can mess with the pitch, you can mess with the space. Space is going to make it a bit more ambient, add a little bit of reverb. You can mess with the size, blah, blah, blah. So let's go ahead and mess with, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of something. Let's turn the pitch up, try that again. Oh, you heard how the grains went up when I did that? As soon as I pressed it? Hold on. Let's add some reverb. So it's cool. You see how you can start getting a little crazy with it. And again, this is similar to what a hardware guitar pedal would be doing. AKA like, this kind of reminds me of the guitar pedal that I have that's hardware, the Hologram Microcosm, another granular guitar pedal effect. Will I say that the trade-off is that I think I could go a bit deeper with my hardware my hardware hologram microcosm? Yes, I would say I could go deeper with the hardware version, sure, but at the cost of probably 10x the price. I'm not exactly sure how much this costs, but I guarantee you it's not $400. That's about the price of a solid standard guitar pedal that's gonna bring you these type of effects. So shout out to Haze for an amazing piece of work. Let's go ahead and mess with a couple more effects. We're gonna if you mess with this Eclipse knob, that's when it changes it to the secondary effects. So you can see that in these parentheses, we have words right here. You're probably wondering what those are and how you affect or how you get to those. Flipping this Eclipse knob is how you, or the switch, I guess, is how you get to the secondary effects. So it's a dark filter, and now we can mess with the feedback. I don't think any of these other ones have anything because they don't have anything in parentheses, but let's go ahead and hear how that sounds on its own. So you can see how we went from just a regular old piano to something that is very detailed, has a lot of character. You know what I'm saying? Just wonderful stuff. And Haze has plenty more pedals. Shout out to Haze. Another one that I really like, Chaos Patterns. This one is similar, but not to be confused with granular effects. Now, granular, if I'm not mistaken, and if I am, I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments, but please do. Granular is when it takes very, very small micro sections of sounds. So it'll basically zoom in on the sound that you played and then play very, very small granules of the sound that you provided in repetition. It'll kind of like loop it. Chaos patterns is kind of just like looping it. It's not taking the smaller sections. It does take smaller sections, but it's not taking like micro sections. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. First things first, enable these two buttons. Sometimes the lights may not light up, but who fucking cares? If you click the button, then it's going to work. Let's go ahead and turn the mix on. Again, before we turn the mix on, we're on the default piano. And before I actually play anything, let me get like a cleaner sounding piano. That one sounds a little wonky. I like pianos that aren't as bright and that have a bit of body and warmth to it. Okay, so we have like a slightly detuned but nice sounding piano, right? All right, let's go ahead and turn on the mix. All right. Okay, you saw how it just kind of played it again. Now let's go ahead and mess with the speed and the timing of these delays. You can also add a pre-delay and a filter. Now, I didn't play the chord again. I was holding the sustain pedal, so it maybe activated it, but let's run this back. Okay. So you hear how there's multiple timings of delays. Not exactly sure what this chaos and collect stuff does, but I just love this plugin and love messing around with it. So let's go ahead and turn up the mix a little bit. Let's go ahead and turn them and mess with some of these knobs. I'm going to leave the pre-delay because I kind of want it to trigger faster. I don't want it to be super delayed. So maybe I shouldn't even have these timings so low. But let's go ahead and play something else. You can also reverse it. I'm going to get to that in a second. It's just still going on its own. You hear it? Oh my God. All right, let's go ahead and let's do time shift off. Let's go ahead and turn chaos and collect off, but we're going to turn reverse on. I feel like this could sound really cool with pianos. I love adding this to anything that just needs a little bit more character. It needs something to like kind of make it shine. And don't worry, you can definitely like turn the mix down when it starts getting to be too much, but for just showcasing the sound of it, I'm going to go ahead and turn the mix all the way up, and let's just see what kind of sounds we can get. Let's turn the speed to 0, see what that does. Ooh, okay, hold on. Okay, let's mess around with it some more. Turn the times to 0. Turn the pre-delay up a little bit. Turn the filter and mess with that a bit. Let's see what that sounds like. Go ahead and turn both of these on. Turn pre-delay off. Now we got the mix on. Let's turn the filter off by opening it all the way up. And I don't know what this does right here. I'm not gonna lie. I have zero clue what that does, and hopefully I didn't mess anything up. But super cool. And again, these are things that hardware guitar pedals do, And I think that these two guitar pedals combined is a closer, realistic approach to like getting sounds of these hardware guitar pedals, is having multiple of these simulators or emulations going on to kind of combine their strengths to basically match what these hardware pieces can do. You know what I'm saying? So these two plugins right here, maybe, and I'm just speculating, probably like $80, maybe to combine these two, and that's still less than 25% of the cost of a guitar hardware guitar pedal that is doing the same things. And honestly, like, you have to be able to control these strong effects, whether it's hardware or whether it's software, like these beautiful guitar pedals right here. So I mean, no shade to the hardware, but I'm rocking this for the convenience. I can load this up on the Mac, I can load this up on here, I can load this up on a foreign PC if I have the activation code and shit. I'd rather do that than bring a fucking whole guitar pedal with me and fucking, you know what I'm saying, have to set all that up, have to have something that can power it, and I'd rather just have these. Shout out to Hayes, beautiful work. I love how this is like a crazy looper that adds a bunch of different, it adds the beautiful chaos. Like, chaos got some beauty in it, and I can't explain to you every single thing this does. I'm not sure what the chaos and collect essentially do in this middle section. I'm not sure, I couldn't tell you, but I can guarantee you that you'll have fun just messing around with like the different combinations of settings you can put these knobs on. The speed, I'm pretty sure that messes with like the pitch. The timing is like when these different delays are going to come in. So it's cool that you get multiple that you can mess with. Pre-delay, obviously, if you want your dry signal to like persist before the actual looping begins, then you would have that set higher, so that way it delays the actual looping coming in. Usually I don't ever have the mix set this high, but let's have the pre-delay up and on the highest setting, have the mix at about half, maybe about 60%, and let's see how long it takes for the actual effects to come in. I'm just holding the sustain pedal. Okay, very long. So you can, that's really cool. I actually like that. I'm glad that it's not a short pre-delay, because if it's a shorter pre-delay, you actually don't get to control basically anything as to like how you'd have to automate the signal coming in instead of having this cool little knob that just allows for the signal to come in later. Shout out to Hayes, beautiful emulations. Love the artwork. I love the design. I love how these things work. Sure, it might bug out a little bit if you like disable them on your mixer. That is one complaint I will say for these plugins, but Hayes actually drops updates for these and he bug fixes. So I'm super happy with that. I love that. Moving on. Yak Delay by Safari Pedals. Yes. Now this one is a little wonkier. This one's a little weird. All right. It is a delay. It's really cool. Let's go back to our dry piano signal. All right. Now let's turn the delay on. And we got a bunch of presets here, but let's start with default and see how that sounds. Wow. Hold on. I'm telling y'all not hearing me. This is a weird delay, right? But it's not only, I swear it's not only a delay, because delay usually just kind of repeats what was happening, right? This one alters the sound as well. So let's turn that back on. Let's actually hear it. Let's hear it dry one more time. Right? Instantly, you turn it on, you hear how it's changing it. It's kind of adding like a filter, maybe a little bit of like some type of, like, it feels like flangis or flanger or almost phaser type of action going on. And sometimes I didn't like this plugin that much when I first got it, but then I realized once you sync the delay, because the delay is unsynced, once you sync the delay, it's like way more usable and in a really, really nice way. And that's the default, brother. That's the default preset. You can bypass by clicking this. You can mess around with the drive. You have a ping pong section. You can mess with the timing of the delay, obviously. Repeats, I'm assuming, is the decay of it, how long it basically strings itself out for. You can control that. You can also control the filter that I was talking about that it adds earlier. You can mess with the blend, and you can turn the actual signal up or down. That's basically all you need. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I love it. Let's go ahead and click a random delay. Okay, I like that. Now let's sync it. I love it. I mean, you don't have to sync it. Obviously, with that preset specifically, when I synced it, it kind of took away the delay and made it either like a super quick delay to where you can't even hear it, or it kind of made it more like a filter phaser type of. But let's mess around with some of these settings while we have the sync on. So turn up the length of the delay, mess with the timing. Okay. Let's mess with some of the filter. Turn that down. Let's turn this down as well. Turn the blend up. Again, I've just come to really like this delay. It's super spacious and get really weird. And you can just get a lot of sounds that you would not expect. Like, do you hear that? Like, what? Let's sync it. Let's turn the blend down a little. Turn the output up. Blend up. Just a very cool delay. I love it. It's a bit wonky. It's unpredictable at some points. It manipulates the whole sound. Like, I fuck with it heavy. Very, very fire delay. Sick. Next one is going to be Bull Sub Machine, also by Safari Pedals. So shout out to them. This one I definitely use for my drums. And let me get you a little. What the fuck? Why my kids look like this? Where are we? What the fuck? Nigga, ooh. Am I tweaking? Backup audio. Do I gotta like wait? Do I have to like re-add this? I do. What the fuck? There we go. All right, 1 second. All right, as I was saying, this cool little plugin right here, Bull Submachine by Safari Pedals. I use this on a lot of my drum loops. Just adds that nice low end oomph that I'm looking for, that doesn't take it over the top. Does that make sense? Like sometimes you have a nice little drum groove going, but you need something that kind of makes it a little more body heavy, a little more low end heavy. Let me go ahead and find us a drum loop. It really doesn't matter where. I just need a drum loop. Don't crash on me off the drum loop. Yeah, it's out of here. All right. So as I was saying, Bull Submachine. Love this. I also love this effect by Safari Pedals. I use it all the time just to give my drums the over the top push that they need. So let's go ahead and assign it to the Bull Submachine mixer channel. Oh my god, immediately. This is the drum loop, no effects. Hopefully y'all have been able to hear this whole time. Okay. That was no effects. This is with the Bull Submachine default preset on. Even on the one, just listen to that heaviness on the one without it and with it. This is without. Like, what? Are you kidding me? It almost sounded like it added an 808. Cool features in here. You can control the frequency that it's messing around with. You can control the drive of it. You can control the resonance. And the oversampling feature right here down at the bottom. That's if you want it to be like optimized even if it's clipping. So basically it won't sound like traditional clipping. It'll kind of like, it'll still give you high quality frequencies, resonances, and all of that, even if it's clipping, basically. Now this thing has a lot of presets by default. That's one thing I love about Safari Pedals, is like they give you a nice tool, but they also give you a good amount of presets. Fire. I love it. Usually I'm just flipping through presets. I'm not messing with anything usually. You do have a punch thing here in the middle that I almost didn't even see. You got an auto gain, so if you want it to automatically detect if it needs to be quieter or louder, you know what I'm saying, then it can do that. Bypass, obviously. You got the input and outputs that are linked, it looks like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of options here. You got distortion. You can control which frequencies it's affecting. You have a tool that automatically will turn it up and down. You got the high quality clippage going on. Love it. Shout out to Safari Pedals. They sent me these. Again, don't have to say anything nice about them, but I just wanted y'all to be able to at least, you know what I'm saying, hear the effects of even the default and just know that it's a good tool for not only drum loops, but I use it as like a drum bus preset. So I'll assign all my drums to the mixer channel and then route them to one channel and add that on top of it, so it affects all of that drums. And then I'll add the Bull Submachine on top of that, and it will affect all of those drums. And yeah, I call it wraps right there. I find me a cool preset that matches the vibe I'm going for. Usually that's it. Simple as that. Talk about an easy workflow. Moving on, we have Space Blender. Now this is one of my favorite plugins of this year, honestly, this whole year. Shout out to Sound Toys. I mean, they've been known to make amazing things, but Space Blender, and sure, this is a CPU eater, right? But this is a fucking beautiful plugin here. So let me go ahead and show you why I really like this plugin right here. All right, so again, we have a piano, and the reason I chose a piano is for like the true tone. I want it to be a consistent true tone that we all know what it sounds like. So this is with no effects right here. Oh, what happened? Why is it not playing? What the hell happened? Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. So, we have the piano again, and let's go ahead and enable the Space Blender. Now, the cool part that I love about this plugin, right? This is a reverb plugin. But what I really love about this plugin is that you can change how the reverb comes in. Never seen this before in my life, but I absolutely love it. Oh my god, like, do you see how you can see and hear how it swells in? Oh my, and you can control it, right? Like if I want it to be fatter in the beginning and then just blink away. It's just wonderful. I love it. And then you have a bunch of controls down here. You have a bunch of presets, and this thing can do a bunch of shit, right? We have like gated presets that give it a wonky, weird phaser type of sound. Let's go ahead and just mess with some of the effects so I can tell you what these knobs do, right? So we obviously have a mix knob. I'm gonna leave that at about half, but you can hear how it changes that and how it kind of takes over the sound. This mod right here. Almost sounds like it's like detuning it. Let's turn the mix up so I can really hear these. So the mod seems like it adds something that almost detunes it, as well as adds like this cool like flanges, chorusy, warm. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my camera focused as well. But yeah, the texture. Yeah, you can. Almost seems like it's kind of adding frequencies when it's all the way to the right, and taking away frequencies when it's kind of away. That's what it's looking like, and that's what it looks like the waveform is telling us. Right, but the cool part is this time knob right here. This can make the reverb go for longer than I've ever seen for a plugin. It can literally go to minutes. And do you see it passing through all of these lines here? You can literally see it. You can literally see it pass through every line here. So if we mess with... And do you see how long that's lasting? Do you see how long that's lasting? All right, the color part. This color knob kind of makes it, I feel like it makes it brighter and quieter. Or, sorry, brighter and darker, depending on which side you have it on, if I'm not mistaken. Let's hear it. Brighter, darker. Kind of opens and closes the filter. Pretty cool. Pretty sick. You can also warp the time. Not exactly sure what that does, but let's hear it. Let's take a listen and see if we can just identify. Let's turn the mod down. I feel like it adds a bit of a wobble a little in the beginning. Let's turn the mix. I think it adds a bit of a wobble. I could be wrong though, but you can also sync this to be, you know what I'm saying, beats. You can, or it also, I'm not exactly sure what it does. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like it either adds like a tiny bit of wobble, the warp effect, or it might actually slightly move things to be not completely on time. That's what the placement of it, the placement of this button is telling me. Like, it's connected to the sync button, which is connected to the time. They're both connected to the time. That makes me want to believe that if you put the warp on, it's probably going to slightly offset the timing. So that's a pretty cool feature. Another really cool feature is this freeze tool right here. So you can actually freeze where the reverb is, and it'll just keep it going. I think that's sick. Not only for droning, but cool ambiances, taking really cool sections of like a part that is frozen, or like, you know what I'm saying? You can take any cool small part in time with this, and you can just kind of loop it forever, record that out, and use it how you want. This tool is just sick. Not only does it have like swelling things to where you can, you know what I'm saying, style it this way, you can have it kind of approach all the way from the ending over here, but you can have these long drawn out huge reverbs and ambiances, but you can also have those cool prickly, like detailed, texturized reverbs that we were just hearing before. The visuals are amazing. I've never been able to interact with a reverb in such a way. You know what I'm saying? It's just such a cool, unique way, and an amazing visual as well as like a cool tool. When I found out that you could manipulate this wave right here, I'm still having a field day. And granted, I'm letting y'all know right now, if you have your time set to max and you have a few plugins open and you let this thing rock, especially if it's a continuous pattern or something, look how long this is going to take to get to the big part. This will eat your CPU up. So use this with caution. I'm just letting you know, this is a powerful beast. It's sick. It's my favorite reverb over Valhalla Vintage Verb. I don't care. It's sick. I love this reverb so much. The visuals, the work, the sound, the customization. The possibilities are damn near endless. So shout out to Soundtoys. That's hands down my favorite reverb plugin ever. I don't care. Until they make something similar or better, it's probably staying that way. So shout out Soundtoys. Beautiful plugin. I think it's $99 for that plugin. I would pay that for sure. This is EFX Motions. I'm probably gonna go ahead and bring in this drum loop again just to demonstrate what's going on. This one is a really cool multi-effect plugin by Arturia. You already know Arturia is giving you guys some fire plugins, but this one is crazy for not only for the texture, but just for the small nuances that it can really add and introduce to whatever you got going on. So let me go ahead and add this drum loop to Mixer 4 so we can hear it. Again, this is the drum loop dry. All right, let's hear it with it. And how is it doing these things? As you can see, we got multiple effects here. We got the filter going on, and that's like on a clock that gets triggered. And we have a bunch of other shit going on as well. We got a little sequencer down here. Like, we got noise coming in that's being introduced. We have volume that's, you could see it going crazy, right? And this thing doesn't really eat CPU like that, but it feels like it should from all of the things that it can do. As you can see, an insane amount of presets, a lot of stuff to go through. You can come over here and have like the traditional Arturia library preview section, and everything's kind of under its own type. You can filter it by type. You can shuffle it. I love to just like come in here and shuffle it and just kind of arrow key my way through while I'm listening to it and trying to find something that like what? Nah, like, I'm telling you, this is one of my favorite effects. I don't know when it came out, but I discovered it this year, and definitely one of my favorite effects. I'm trying to remember who I found it from. I think it was Hit Girl. Somebody else used it too. I'm not exactly sure, but shout out to them for putting me on. I don't think much needs to be said. You just need to go explore this. I literally can't. I can't put into words how much I love it. It's got a bunch of different effects here, and obviously you can switch these out. You can like drag the order and change that. You can mess around with the actual like this is like a little mini Effectrix or Looperator if you guys are hip to that, where it's like you can kind of control when these effects come in and when these rolls, reverses, and pitches happen. You can get in here and get in the nitty gritty and change like the waveforms of the volume, and you can mess with it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you really want to get your hands dirty and grimy and make it fit exactly what you're looking for, you can do that for sure. 100,000%. But I personally think that the presets are enough. But you have the option of customization with such a powerful tool, powerful multi-effects tool. And I think it just does it in a way that doesn't feel as limited as Looperator or Effectrix does. I think that this one kind of just stands on its own. I mentally don't even put them in the same category. These like multi-effects plugins with this one, I can't do it. I don't know. This one just kind of like beats the other ones out the water. Like it just does something. I'm not gonna lie. So shout out to EFX Motions. Next we got TR5 Tascam Porta 1. This is a tape emulation plugin after the actual Tascam Porta 1, which is a physical tape machine. This really, I use it on my samples all the time, so I'll go ahead and drag in like a melody or something. But it really just like makes the frequencies shine how they're supposed to. Let me see. And it just, I don't know, I feel like it adds like a very nice polished sound. So let's go ahead and hear it without the Tascam. All right, let's hear it with the Tascam. Default preset. Automatically a bit louder. Clear. I don't know. I think there's a difference in like it just raising the volume versus like truly like bringing out the nice frequencies. Clean tape is my favorite preset. I mean, I use this damn near every time I open this plugin up, but let's hear it with and without. And without. So I don't think it just raised like the volume of everything. I think that you can hear the bass is like slightly increased, but I think that the higher frequencies are like where it's really shining at. And you again, you have these options to like mess with the bias, the LFEQ, like, you know what I'm saying? You can mess around with what frequencies you want to be affected more than others. You can turn up the whole thing itself with this input/output over here. You can emulate like true stereo and transport modeling. So if you don't want it to feel like it's more in a stereo mode, then you know what I'm saying, you can alter all of these things. And there's two different types of the tapes. I haven't really kind of dove into that, but usually I just stick with this clean tape preset. And then if I need to add some shining or like polishing to, I guess, highlighting to a specific section of like higher frequency or lower frequency, then I'll come over here and mess with the bias. And you know what I'm saying? You can hear And granted, this isn't the best example because I think that the mix of the actual bass in this sample is a bit OD, so that's on me, but you can hear what it's doing. And you can add these like different other presets right here where it's like a broken tape machine, where it gets all crumbly and but I think it truly pushes the sound. I don't think it's like a plugin that just makes it louder. I think it helps push it, and it does, like, if you, I wish I had a sample where you could really hear like the tape effect of it. Let me see, maybe we can do like, maybe if we like slow this one down. But I feel like I can already hear like some warping going on of how the tape wobbles would be realistically. But let me see if I can slow this down and see if we can hear it better. Let's turn it off, play it. Turn it back on. Let's go through the different presets. That's my favorite one for sure. Yeah, I feel like you can truly hear the imperfections on these two right here. And that's kind of what the tape effect is supposed to do. It's supposed to like record it, have these imperfections, these wobbles, these just these kind of like unique glitches in the sound in like the raw signal. And not only does it do that, but I think it highlights the best frequencies of whatever sound you're using. And I mean, that's like my main reason of why I love it, is it doing that. So not much else to be said about that. I think all of the effects are out of the way. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the actual VSTs that we like. So first one, where is it? Why is it doing this? I want the tree. And then we have the Mini Monster 2 is the first one. All right, Mini Monster 2 right here. This one is sick. This one's sick. You know, this one's sick because not only does it have polyphonic aftertouch, or maybe it's not poly, but it does have aftertouch. That means if your key bed on your MIDI keyboard is capable that you can press a note and you hear it, right? But let's press the note, and then I'm gonna like wiggle the note. I'm gonna kind of change how hard I'm pressing down on the note. So let's hear that same note. Now let's wiggle it. So you can see how that starts to introduce these other cool expressive playing styles you can mess around with. You can choose a bunch of different sounds and see how it kind of affects them. I think this has a bunch of sounds in it. It's got a nice variety. It has very clean basses. It has very strong low end. It has some really cool high end plugs. Okay, so it is not poly. I forget what the other one is called, but when you do start wiggling on the keys, it actually affects all of the notes, whereas poly aftertouch would have only done it for the notes that you're wiggling. So that is the difference, but still a very cool thing that not a lot of plugins even have. Again, it does have weird sounds, but it does have some very clean and cool. It has a lot of cool sounds. So for the fact that it has a variety of sounds, it has that cool key bed function of aftertouch, and yeah, just the simple versatility. Pretty sure this is modeled after, or it's modeled by the same company that does Moog. I could be reaching. Hold on, I'm not 1,000% sure. Don't take me up on that, but very very solid sounds in here. I think it's very slept on. You may not have heard about it. You may have, but I think it's for sure worth checking out. If you love Xenology, if you love, what's some of the other ones? Like Purity. Well, I don't think Purity is a good example, but if you love things like Xenology and Triton, I think you'll have a great time. Diva, if you like things like that, then I think it's very similar to those, and it has similar sounds, but just with like some cooler things that you can do with them. And yeah, it comes with a lot of presets, so I definitely think it's worth checking out. Definitely think it's worth using. I've been kind of spamming it since I've got it, which was like a few months ago, so I would for sure recommend this. Definitely got some really cool features. Pretty typical layout. It has like unison options. It has mono. It has legato. You have volume. You can pan spread things, which is really cool. You just have a lot of options. You can mess with a vintage knob. Like not a lot of things got a vintage knob now. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot you can do. It's got cool leads, cool basses, cool pads, cool keys. I mean, what else can you really ask for? I haven't really dove into the sequences and stuff like that, but I mean, it has enough for me to want to use it as is. Yeah, no, just a very cool plugin. I'm gonna continue to use that one for sure. Love that one. All right, on to the next one. We have Kontakt 8. This one is Freak 2. Shout out Des Bright. This is another one of my favorites for sure. This is, if I'm not mistaken, a culmination of 22 analog synthesizers that Des Bright collected, with a bunch of different presets, a bunch of different banks. You know what I'm saying? Like, comes out the gate with over 370 presets. Pretty sick. Pretty sure bro adds like little patch updates every now and then, and he also has added updates to some of the UI. The UI is sick in general. Let's go ahead and hear what some of the sounds sound like. Now, the cool part about this is that you have this little droid here, right? And you have this little crosshair, I would call it. You can play something and drag between the Z, or drag between these X and Y axes, and you can hear it alter the sound. So you can actually change the sound. As you can see up here at the top, we have two different sound sources going on, and you can kind of change your way between them in different manners. And not only does the droid get some drip, but you change between the two sounds. So let's find like another sound that's maybe a bit more exaggerated. Okay, I'm ass, but like you can hear it. And then let's turn the effects on. My favorite part about this is probably the leads, the bass, and then the pads. The pads are really nice. Let's go ahead and check out some pads. Again, you can mess with how the sound is mixed. You can go in here, change cutoffs, resonance, pan them, detune them, mess with the ADSR if you want to do a little bit of sound design. Can add some LFO. Let's go ahead and add some. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Right. Basses are really nice. Got a lot of variety. Obviously, you can turn up the output volume, drive. You can add noise. These bits kind of make the drive a bit smoother, so the higher the bits, the drive / distortion is smoother. Low end is crazy. Like I'm telling you, if you just, I like to just turn it up a bit. Right here, let me see. Really cool basses. Just very cool stuff you can do. Like I said, it's a combination of over 22 very expensive analog synths and like a bunch of high quality recorded sounds from them combined and layered, and you can change the combination, you can randomize, you can turn the effects off, you can make it mono, make it not mono by clicking this, you can click and drag to sound, basically morph between the sounds here. You can add glide if you want. Like, bro, you have so many options. You can go in here shaping and then the LFO controls, like that is so sick. And when you randomize, you can do a bunch of shit with that. Like it changes that. There's different shortcuts to make it only randomize some of the effects or only change the sound sources up at the top. Like it's just crazy. I'm grateful for this plugin. If you're looking to get like an analog synthesizer and you're like, damn, it's kind of out of my budget because they can get expensive, and you're like, damn, I really want a good analog synth, I probably would just spend the money I was looking to spend on a synth and get this in the meantime until you can get like something that's truly worth it to you, whatever that may be. In here you have effects. You have like a chorusy type of effect. You have like a reverb over here, or actually this is the reverb. This is the delay. As you can see, we got the chorus, delay, reverb, CDR. You can change the rate, you can change the feedback, you can change timing feedback, you can change the type of reverb. Let's go ahead and hear. Let's mess with the chorus. Turn up the reverb. Let's go ahead and mess with the morph. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that back down. But yeah, you get the point. But plenty of options, plenty of sounds, all high quality, and I would say it's well worth the price. Shout out Des Wright. I did buy that one on my own, and I would do it again. So yeah, hopefully you guys go check that out. Next, we got Analog Lab 5. In general, you guys know about this plugin probably. If you don't, you're sleeping. This is like a host of some of the most powerful synths, or emulations of the most powerful synths, and then in general some that are created by Arturia that are just powerful, like Pigments. I mean, depending on which bundle you get a lot. You get a lot of bang for your buck. You get a lot of presets out the gate. You can get custom banks, like I have custom banks. Got Radiant. We got one coming out soon. Like there's plenty of cool things you can do. One of my favorite features is Pigments multi-keys, where you can basically, similar to Freak 2, how he took 2 recordings of synthesizers and laid them together. And this, you can take multiple recordings, up to 6 at least, and you could add another engine of 6 at least, and you can layer them and just play them, and it'll randomly select, or you can change how it'll select them. Like there's just... Let's hear a more dramatic one. Okay, that's not what I wanted. But you can get granular action going on in here. You can layer a bunch of sounds. This is just a very small fraction of like the complicated patches and sounds you can get from such a cool plugin. And this is only one synthesizer out of the, I don't even know how many that they have. But if we were to go back here and go, look at all of these. Look at all of this. And you can go into them and just, you can mess with the presets. You can, you know what I'm saying? You get a bunch of default presets that you can just fuck around with. A lot of the cases, you get the actual initial patches that are in these hardware synthesizers. Like this is after the Juno 6, and you get a lot of the initial like actual patches from these synthesizers, so you can get sounds that sound damn near exactly the same as these hardware synthesizers. So again, if you're on a budget, or you just like the fact that these are portable, you wouldn't have to bring around 80 plus synthesizers with you to do whatever, like Analog Lab is 100,000% worth it. Like not only do you get the cool sounds out the gate, but you can go in and like actually edit the preset and like tweak everything about it, and you know what I'm saying, like create your own patches. It's literally the home of unlimited creative ideas. Like it's just wonderful. The fact that you get a whole bunch of presets out the gate, the fact that you can customize damn near everything, the fact that you get a lot of the same presets that a lot of these hardware synths have, and the fact that it's like not too bad on your CPU. Honestly, like it's pretty good. I would say it's really good. I have a decent PC, and I can probably open at least 5 to 10 of these and go crazy. And my CPU probably reaches like 60. That's not that bad. I'll take that. Definitely lighter than Omnisphere. Definitely lighter than Kontakt. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure you can open a lot of these synthesizers as like on their own. But yeah, very cool plugin. Just sick that you can kind of go in and just like change a lot of shit on its own, tweak whatever you want, make cool presets. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I just love it. Easily one of my favorite. One of my favorite companies, Arturia. One of my favorite VSTs, hands down. I mean, how could it not be, with all of the value that it adds to my collection, just off the gate. So shout out to Arturia for that one. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful host of unlimited ideas and creativity. The next VST that I'm going to have to talk about is going to have to be something you might not have heard of, also from Arturia. But this one is pure lo-fi, and yes, I only have the demo version. Arturia, if you want to send me that, that'd be great. But I really like this one because of how textured these sounds are. So let me show you. First off, not only does it have some of the smoothest sounds, as you could tell by lo-fi, it being in the name, but some of them are just super textural. I mean, you get a little bit of everything in here. Wow. So yeah, you have a bunch of noise textures that you can go through. We have analog filters, which is really cool. You have samplers, it looks like. You have realistic instruments. You have a lo-fi oscillator that you can change through a bunch of different sounds. And I think it's just like a very, very clean signal that it provides for these very lush sounds that I don't think only need to be used in like lo-fi, right? Obviously. I think that a lot of these can be used as backgrounds or textures or foundations of really cool ambient soft things. Like it could go in either way. You could use this in trap, you could use this in basically any genre, I'm not gonna lie. Cool customization, amazingly cool interface. I mean, we got the katakana characters down here with a very cool layout for like the keys. You have the bend and pitch, you can glide. We have Juno chorus, which is pretty sick. So it looks like we have really cool effects that come in. I mean, cool ways to like go through these presets. You can change the lo-fi amount. You have these cool effects up here. It looks like you can automate a bunch of this stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else you can ask for. Arturia delivers. I'm not gonna lie. This one definitely worth checking out, especially if you make pop. Especially if you're looking for very clean signal sounds that you just don't have. You know what I'm saying? You can have all the wonky sounds, but if you don't have a few plugins that can give you some clean, nice texturized samples and sound sources, then I mean you're missing out. You're missing out on a lot. So I mean, it's just got versatility, like, you know what I'm saying? And this reminds me kind of the next plugin that I'm going to talk about that I think is severely underrated. This one is in Kontakt. This one is Themkey by Phonoloop. Even more texturized, like heavily texturized sounds. Kind of reminds me of the last one we just talked about, that pure lo-fi, but this one is way more focused on texture and ambience. I mean, the sound previews you get even are really cool. And this one also provides you with some of these clean, basic signals that we need. So, like, you got Rhodes and the electric piano. You got bass, very clean bass signals. But you also have these cool, undescribable ambiances and textures that you can just mess with. So let's go ahead and play around with some of this. And I don't know if my PC's lagging or if that's just how that sounds. Do you hear those crazy little textures though? Just wonderful sounds. Yeah, I don't ever mess with any of these settings. I use it straight off the rip. The most I'll come in here for, turn off some noise. That's about it. And that's just because I might want to come in here and maybe the noise is a bit too much, but the textures on this are just beautiful. My favorite thing to do with this is like use this as like a secondary sound that kind of layers on top of a chord that I have in my chord progression, but only a couple chords out of all of them. So that way it like really brings texture and life to a couple of those chords versus, I don't know, spamming it. That's just my favorite thing to do, is like making it highlight some of my favorite chords or using it to just add texture to my samples in ways that I typically wouldn't. I'm using this all the time. I mean, shout out to Phonoloop. That's the company that made this. They sent me this, and I mean, I would buy this. So, I mean, if that says anything, I'm not sure how much it is, but you get, looks like over 500 presets off rip, and I mean, you just get a bunch of shit. Like, what? Nah, I gotta try that. What? Yeah. I mean, what else do you need to even say? It looks like you can just really get crazy with this if you want to. Yeah, man. Textures. Textures. It just adds these cool expressions, these cool little glitches and wobbles and warps and I don't know. It's just really cool samples to begin with. So yeah, no, definitely check that one out. That's gotta be up there. I mean, gotta be top 5 for me. Now I want to do one final one that is an honorable mention. This one is Elastic Pitch. This one's super cool because you drag this slider up here. First off, I'm holding shift and left click and dragging. That always gives you like an even value on the pitch. So I use this on my master a lot, just so that way I can basically transpose without having to switch keys on my keyboard. But this is just a pitching plugin. So if we turn it off, turn it on, that's the same chord obviously, but pitched up 3 now. Now the really cool feature that like makes me want to bring this up is the fact that you can input a freeze. So let's go ahead and play something. When I hit this freeze, it'll stay here. And it's cool because you can record that out and use it as a drone. You could add effects to it. You could do whatever you want to any frozen bit of time. You just have to catch it by pressing the freeze button. Just a really cool slept on feature. I think it could be a sick tool for creating cool sections of your sample that just stand out heavy, or even adding drones of some sort. I think it's just a nice, easy way to get some very cool ambiances, drones, or like background sounds, or even main, you know what I'm saying? It could be whatever you want. Whatever you catch in your frozen section is whatever you catch, right? So you could catch some really cool sections. You could catch something really simple that you just want to loop forever. You could have a sample done and you could bring it in and you could freeze it in a random section. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing to do as well, is to just drag in something and then just freeze it. Okay, yeah, and just for that feature alone is like a reason that I want to mention it as a pitch shifter, because a lot of other pitch shifters cannot do that. I'm not really sure what a lot of this other stuff does, but just the fact of the cool interactive slider that goes diagonally and then the input freeze is probably some of the sickest things. The freeze mainly being the sickest thing that I've seen in like a pitch shifter in general. I think that is about it. Hopefully you guys found something in here that you liked out of all of these plugins and VSTs that I showed you. Hopefully something stood out, and hopefully the sound demos were at least solid enough to give you a glimpse of what you can produce out of these plugins. I mean, and effects, but I don't want you guys to think, the reason that I didn't want to do sound demos to begin with is I didn't want y'all to be misled by me showing only a fraction of what the plugin or VST or effect could sound like. I wanted y'all to be able to discover that on your own, but I understand the frustration of not having any clue of what it truly sounds like versus, you know what I'm saying, you're just taking my word in that last video. So my apologies for that. I appreciate the constructive criticism, and yeah, hopefully this sound demo and plugin review was good enough. Hopefully it suffices. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and yeah, let me know in the comments what's your favorite plugin, what's your favorite VST, what's your favorite effects. Let us know in the comments. You know what I'm saying? We're not gatekeepers around here. We're very open to spreading and sharing the wealth and the love. And yeah, hopefully this helps you discover something that inspires you as well as elevates your sound. If you need any new high quality sounds as a producer, go to junojojo.co. Comment some video ideas down below. And if you're interested in watching uncut footage of me making beats and making music, consider subscribing to my new YouTube channel, Jojo Raw, linked in the description. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. An hour and 20 minutes of yappage. Hey, y'all asked for it. Y'all asked for it.